Coming to you from the studios of Galaxy Media. The #1 ranked podcast for entertainment news. The Stephen King Show. Now here is your host, Stephen King.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Stephen King Show. Today I have doggy tails, eat your veggies, Starbucks, and oil, but first...
The news.
It's another HBO boo-boo. After the most recent episode of The Last of Us premiered, eagle-eyed fans noticed a blunder that brought to mind the infamous Game of Thrones Starbucks cup. In the 6th episode of the series, Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey's characters Joel and Ellie are seen alone crossing a bridge through a snowy landscape. The problem? They weren't quite so alone. In an aerial shot, members of the crew could be spotted in the far left of the frame. Commenting on a TikTok video highlighting the mistake, one fan commented, "Better than a Starbucks cup." No word yet on whether the network will digitally remove the crew members as it did with the coffee cup. Kevin Costner's attorney is firing back at anonymous complaints about his work ethic on Yellowstone. Marty Singer slammed reports that unnamed sources have claimed Costner wanted to film the Western drama for 50 days for the first part of the season and only a week for the second batch of episodes, calling them an absolute lie. He added, as everyone who knows anything about Kevin is well aware, he is incredibly passionate about the show and has always gone way above and beyond to ensure its success. No comment from Paramount so far. Savannah Chrisley has revealed that her family has a new show in the works as her parents Todd and Julie Chrisley remain in prison. On a new episode of her Unlocked with Savannah Chrisley podcast, she teased that fans will soon be able to get a glimpse of her family's new normal. Speaking to niece Chloe Chrisley, whom she was left to raise, and grandmother Nanny Faye, Savannah said that she's talking to a few production companies about another show, which will detail how we're coping with it, how we get through it. Her family's hit show Chrisley Knows Best was canceled by NBC Universal after Julie and Todd were sentenced to a combined 19 years of fraud and tax evasion. Constance Wu is going to be a mom of 2. The Hustlers actress, who is 40, is expecting her second baby with boyfriend Ryan Kittner, she announced on her Instagram story. Sharing a photo where she stands with her shirt lifted, revealing her baby bump, she wrote, "Bun in the oven, Philippine's baby number 2 coming soon." The couple is already parents to a 2-year-old daughter. Adam Driver is going to be a dad of 2. The Marriage Story actor and wife Joanne Tucker are expecting their second baby together. The couple is already parents to a young son whose name has not been shared. 40-year-old Tucker was recently spotted out with a baby bump on display while the pair were in New York City. Driver and Tucker met while attending Juilliard and tied the knot in 2013. In the years since, they have welcomed a son whom they've kept out of the spotlight. And Steven Spielberg says he's mounting a big production of one of Stanley Kubrick's lost projects. The large-scale biopic of Napoleon Bonaparte has been in the works for HBO for the last 7 years, and the ET director now says the project will become a 7-part series. Kubrick originally planned the film after the success of 2001: A Space Odyssey and did extensive research on the French revolutionary leader. He had planned to film the movie across Europe, in France, the UK, and Romania, with around 40,000 soldiers, but the project was abandoned.
Time for music news you can use.
Harry Styles took part in what he called one of the most disgusting local traditions while performing in Perth, Australia on Monday, a shoey. That involves drinking liquid, usually alcohol, out of your footwear, then popping your shoe back on your foot. Beyonce and Rihanna were among the first winners of 2023 NAACP Image Awards. The organization is announcing winners in non-televised categories all week, leading up to the live ceremony. Bey won Outstanding Female Artist, Outstanding Soul R&B Song for Cuff It, and Outstanding Album for Renaissance. Riri won Outstanding Music Video Visual Album for Lift Me Up. Coldplay, Chris Martin, and actor Hugh Jackman are among the co-chairs for this year's Global Citizen Now, a leadership summit set for April 27th through 28th in New York. They'll join political, corporate, and philanthropic leaders, all focused on driving urgent action to end extreme poverty. Rolling Stones are giving fans a peek into their custom-built mobile studio, which is credited for changing the world of recording. A short documentary has been shared on the band's YouTube channel, showing how the most important music studio on wheels came into existence. Ozzy Osbourne and wife Sharon are featured in a new commercial for PlayStation VR 2, the next generation of virtual reality gaming. The console launched this week, and Osbourne tweeted out a link to the commercial, writing, "Did the spot with the @PlayStation team. We had a lot of fun. Their new VR 2 really is amazing." Jason Aldean is recording his 11th album. He posted pics from the studio and wrote, "Always a blast when we start making new music together. Hopes are that it will be ready for release before his Highway Desperado tour begins in July." And Garth Brooks, when he and his wife Trisha Yearwood announced last week that a new duets album is coming, it left many hoping it would be the long-awaited full-length collab between the two. But this week on Inside Studio G, Brooks said the duets record is not just of the Queen, his nickname for his wife. The Queen's in there, of course, because you can't do it without her. It's expected late this year. Coming up, doggy tales, but first I want to know, what animal would be the most terrifying or funniest if it could speak? Send me an email, thestephenkingShow@yahoo.com. If you sneeze while driving at 60 miles per hour, you'll travel 50 feet with your eyes closed, says a report. Okay, but what does sneezing while driving do to your Farmville crops?
Now back to the Stephen King Show.
Pie hole filling. I'm loving this. A new treatment to prevent cavities is easier, more effective, and definitely cheaper than getting fillings. While dental sealants have always been the preferred method to reduce the risk of cavities, a new technique involves the use of silver diamine fluoride. It is applied by brushing it onto the teeth and has been shown to lower the risk of cavities in children by 80%. Researchers from NYU College of Dentistry found the treatment stopped cavities from getting worse in 50% of situations. The application of silver diamine fluoride can be done by a dental nurse, whereas sealants are applied by a dentist or dental hygienist. This could be vital in reducing the overall risk of cavities in children, particularly those in low socioeconomic areas. But of course, dentists remind us that this is not a replacement for brushing teeth, or for regular checkups, or regular cleaning, or whatever else they can think of. Doggy tales. New research out of Hungary says that puppies instinctively imitate human actions even without any training or a food reward. The study was carried out by observing the behaviors of puppies, kittens, and wolf pups, and only the young dogs imitated the actions of a human using a body part similar to the trainer's demonstration. The study authors believe that dog puppies may have evolved to imitate the actions of people in order to learn new skills or information. The alternative explanation is that imitation breeds flattery. Impersonating another creature could be a method of getting into someone's good graces and improving their social standing. A study has found that nearly a third, 28%, of dog owners believe they can immediately pick up on their pet's different moods. The survey of 2,000 dog owners found that the top sign that lets a pet parent know their dog is happy is when it wags its tail. Big surprise there. Followed by when their furry friend jumps on them or shows affection with cuddles or kisses. What about when Rover is sad? The top signs are loss of appetite, low energy, or whining or crying. Same except for the part about loss of appetite. Eat your veggies. Eating a nutritious diet is essential for maintaining good health, and vegetables are definitely an important part of that equation, as they're full of vitamins, minerals, fiber, and antioxidants. But which are the healthiest veggies? Ironically, a recent survey found the vegetables that people like the most are corn and potatoes, not exactly the most nutritious offerings from Mother Nature's garden. According to nutrition experts, spinach is the healthiest vegetable. 1 cup or 30 grams of raw spinach provides vitamins A and K, plus antioxidants, which may help reduce your risk of disease, probably including cancer. Spinach may also benefit heart health by helping reduce blood pressure. If spinach doesn't work for you, the next 4 healthiest veggies, according to those who know, are in order: watercress, broccoli, carrots, and beet greens. You know what they say, people who don't eat meat are called vegetarians, but what are people who don't eat vegetables? Constipated. Signs you're addicted to online shopping. 1. You've forgotten what's in the box when it gets delivered. Forgetting what you ordered is a sign you're on spending autopilot, which is a slippery slope to debt. 2. You shop when you're bored or lonely. Online shopping has a way of pulling you from boredom into an emotionally engaging place. This is the effect of dopamine, a naturally produced chemical in your brain. The problem is that this surge of excitement is short-lived, so you go looking for that rush again. Try a 24-hour pause between filling your cart and actually hitting the buy button to see if your purchase is a need or a want. Your credit card balance mysteriously keeps rising. You've just consolidated your debt and now your credit card balances are up again. What's going on? You need to make a budget and stick to it. Whatever is left over for discretionary spending, have at her. There are unopened packages or price tags on previous orders. The fact that you're considering rounding up all of those items and selling them on Facebook Marketplace kind of shines a light on your overspending problem. Time to take some of that earlier advice. And family and friends comment on your shopping habits, and not in a good way. If they've made comments or have sat you down for a full intervention, they're bringing it up because it seems you're struggling. Change starts with finding a reason to do so. For your kids, for the freedom that savings could bring you, is it for your wellness? If you can find that reason, you can find the initiative to change. Actually, the problem for me is the fact that I have an overwhelming crush on the cute UPS lady. Back with Starbucks and oil next.
Like what you hear? Want to hear more? Click the link below and check out all the Stephen King Show episodes. Download, listen, like, and subscribe. Now back to the Stephen King Show.
Biden and Putin give dueling speeches. Fresh off a surprise visit to Kiev, President Biden gave a speech in Poland where he vowed unwavering support for Ukraine. With the war about to hit its one-year anniversary, Biden has been emphasizing that Western allies will stand with Ukraine for the long haul. Hours before Biden's speech, Russian President Vladimir Putin lashed out at the West and said he was suspending Russia's participation in its final remaining arms control treaty with the U.S. Norfolk Southern was told to clean up its mess. The EPA took its most aggressive action yet against the company, whose train derailed in East Palestine, Ohio in early February. The agency ordered Norfolk Southern to identify and clean up contaminated soil and water and reimburse the EPA for the cleanup it does on its own. The head of the EPA, Michael Regan, found that Norfolk Southern will pay for cleaning up the mess they created and for the trauma they've inflicted on the community. Starbucks mixes olive oil with coffee. The chain is rolling out a new line of olive oil infused coffee drinks in Italy today and will bring them to Southern California this spring. CEO Howard Schultz said he conceived of the idea while watching the locals in Sicily drink olive oil. He started drinking the oil alongside his coffee and, like a 13-year-old in front of a soda fountain, decided why not combine them. Olive oil coffee may sound like a gimmick, but Schultz called it a transformational moment for the company. Things you probably didn't know yesterday is next.
Need a new coffee mug? How about a new shirt or hoodie? Check out the Stephen King Show shop. Go to thestephenkingshow.securedecoration.com or click on the link in the description. Happy shopping, and thanks for supporting the show. Now back to the Stephen King Show. This is Things You Probably Didn't Know Yesterday.
Would you like to have super speed just like the Flash and other comic book heroes? Don't laugh, scientists say super speed is already possible, at least among rodents. The study authors hypothesize that repeated stimulation of the nerves in mouse legs could eventually form super fast muscles similar to those that control eye movements. This means that maybe someday we could be part of a superhuman society where the limits of human speed are a thing of the past. You know, I knew one day that paying a team of scientists to find a way to give me superpowers would pay off. Some more things you probably didn't know yesterday. Moons can have moons, and they're called moons. 1 acre of peanuts produces enough peanut butter for 30,000 peanut butter sandwiches. Hard cheeses have a longer shelf life than soft cheeses. When Play-Doh was first developed in the 1930s, it wasn't a toy, it was a way to clean wallpaper. Disney World is the second largest purchaser of explosives in the United States. The first is the U.S. Department of Defense. And Coca-Cola owns all website URLs that can be read as AH or AHH, all the way up to 62 H's. And I have the answer to yesterday's question coming up next. Seahorses mate for life, and when they travel, they hold each other's tails. That's just amazing, said no married man ever.
Now back to the Stephen King Show.
Yesterday I asked, the average person will do this 2 million times in their life. What is it? Swear. Today's question: 1 out of 8 adults don't know how to do this. What is it? I'll tell you on the next episode. No podcast tomorrow. I'll be traveling and won't be able to record, so I'll leave you with, don't believe you have to be like anybody to be somebody. Have a great weekend.